Well, hello and welcome to On the Colour Couch. I'm Karen Huller and I'm so glad that you've joined us today. This is where I sit down with the most wonderful guests, designers, creatives, artists, and we explore how colour shapes their world. Together, we uncover stories, their inspirations, and emotions behind their work, and also the many ways that color influences how we feel, our lives, and how we connect to color. And I really hope that these conversations inspire you to see color in a whole new way and maybe find ways to bring a little bit more color into your life. So today I am very excited to say that joining me is John Cooper, interior designer and product designer, and the winner of this year's BBC Interior Design Masters. So, John, a very warm welcome to On the Colour Couch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I'll just share with everybody how we met.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I
this
was
is
going to,
fabulous.
that was fabulous. Well, I am very pleased because it could have gone horribly wrong. So we were both at Decorex a couple of
Mhm.
weeks ago, which is a big interior event in London,
Yeah.
and it's in the beautiful VIP lounge, and I was having a coffee, and I look up, and who do I see walking past me but John and Rita from the Interior Design Masters. And
Yeah.
I was with Mary, and I said to Mary, oh my God, I've really wanted to interview them for the Colour Couch since they won, but I never
Oh,
got around to it. And I said, oh my God, they've just walked past. And she said, well, go on, go on. And I went, okay. So I literally ran after you two and stopped you in the VIP lounge. And I thought, oh
oh,
my
it was
God,
lovely. It was so nice because we generally come as a pair. Most kind of events, me and Rita are there together. But I mean, we'll talk more about that later, I'm sure. But it was so nice to just for you to come over and chat to us, and it
well,
was
kind of
lovely.
ran over. Lucky I stopped and didn't just keep running and barrel you two. But yeah, I was so excited. And when I just said to you who I was, and I thought I really would love to interview you both. And you had cake in hand, you were balancing your cup of tea, trying to work out where you could sit. And you were so sweet because you both just said yes on the spot. And I just thought, oh, how lovely. So thank you.
Oh, no, my absolute pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, of course. So, um, let's let's dive in because I've got
Okay.
lots of questions that I'd love to ask you about all different
Yeah.
parts of your life.
Uh-huh.
And there's some questions that I always start with, which is sort of what I call the classic color couch questions,
Okay.
which are really good for the listener, for them
Right.
to understand your love of color and your connection with color. And we'll start there, and then we'll move into into the TV show, and we'll talk about your collection with John Lewis. So there's
Yeah.
lots and lots to talk about and how you were a teacher, and oh, there's just so much to cover.
Absolutely.
But the very first question I'd love to ask you is, what was your earliest color memory?
Oh. So, yeah, I was born in the 70s and I grew up in a very 1970s house. And so the interior of the house was kind of browns and oranges and warm yellows and olive drab kind of colors in there. But what really stands out in my mind was the exterior of the house. The front door
Uh-huh.
was this vivid turquoise, as
Wow.
was the garage door. And I just remember being very small. I mean, I would have been, I don't know, under the age of 5. And I just remember these vivid turquoise doors. And that was it for me. Just it was
Mm,
such a bright color. But I think everyone who lived around there in those houses at that time, they all had their unique color that they painted their front door and their garage door. I think maybe that was the trend at the time, but
right,
um,
right.
that's what I remember.
Yeah, as opposed to the kind of the earthy, um, no, not muted, but yeah, the really kind of earthy colors that were in the house.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It was a real contrast. I mean, both
Mm.
were lovely. But it's definitely that turquoise that kind of just it's such a vivid memory.
Yeah. And do you have any turquoise in your life? Like, is there anything that you've carried it through?
No, no, funnily enough, I don't. I can't think of anywhere where we've used turquoise yet. that could
Ah,
happen.
you never know because now that the color,
Absolutely.
that would be a very interesting thing, wouldn't it? If
Mm.
now that you've got this color memory and now it's become to the consciousness, whether those feel good feelings that you had from turquoise and you might bring that somewhere in as a memory.
Oh no, I'm just realised we do have it somewhere. I have remembered where we have it. So we have it in an outdoor space. We have a decked area right at the back of the garden,
Hmm.
and we bought two just kind of wooden benches in that. And we painted them bright turquoise. So we do
Ah,
have
well,
some.
there you go. There you go. What a perfect place to have it too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great. And it's because it really sets the vibe of how you want that outdoor space to be used.
Uh-huh.
It's not a tranquil mellow, is it?
Oh no,
It's
not at all.
vibrant and lively.
Yeah, that's out there, basking in the sun with some drinks
Yeah.
on the turquoise benches with all the cushions. It's a nice vibe out there for
Oh,
sure.
lovely, lovely, lovely. So what does color mean to you?
Ooh. So I think, yeah, that's it's changed over the years. It's one of those things I think when you're young and it's just something that's there. You don't really give it much
Mm,
consideration,
mm,
and you start to maybe get a favorite color and things like that. And then I went through an art school route as a student, and of course there you're taught about color and the
mm,
significance of color and color relationships. And now after years of teaching color theory at school to children as well, I've reached a point with it where I consider it's one of the tools in my toolkit as a
hmm.
designer, along with pattern and texture, which I also use a lot. It's one of the things that I have to set a mood or
Mm,
create an ambiance or tell a story. And I look at it a lot like baking, really. Like you have all these ingredients,
mm.
and there are things that in theory you think, oh no, they couldn't possibly work together. But a lot of the time it comes down to the combination of each ingredient or the quantity of each ingredient that
Yep,
you actually put together.
yep.
And so I think the same applies to color as well,
Mm,
that you can have some quite unexpected combinations of color and they will work just based on what quantities of those color you put with each other. And
yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And your baking analogy is spot on because it's exactly, well, I don't use that analogy, but I will now. But it's that, the proportion is important
Yeah.
because that can change, well, the taste, but can change how we feel in a space and how we react and respond.
Mm.
And also the placement. You
Yeah.
place the color in a certain place, has a completely different, you get a response from it than if you put it, somewhere else. So,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Absolutely.
yeah, so baking, it's a really good one for people to understand.
Yeah, I definitely look at it that way.
Mm,
It is one of those core ingredients to creating a space or designing a product.
mm, 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 mm.
I'll have a huge influence on the people who interact with that space or that product.
Yep, yep. No, absolutely, absolutely. And then how we interact with each other.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it has always has this onward flow, doesn't it?
Oh,
The
absolutely. Yeah.
impact it has. So you mentioned before about favorite color. Do you have one, or do you
Oh, I
find
do.
one that you're consistently drawn to?
Yeah, I'll give you. Ooh, let me think. I've got a kind of twofold answer to that one, really. I think for the longest time ever, as long as I can remember, my favorite color is red, like vivid
Ah,
red. And it's a funny one. I mean, it's got an intensity and a confidence and a warmth to it that I absolutely love. And I don't know if it's because I was quite a shy child and teenager that I used a really bold color to kind of express myself, maybe.
uh-huh.
But it's one of those colors, isn't it, red, that people are terrified of
Yeah.
using. And we had the kind of whole unexpected red theory thing,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
came up on social media. And for me, that was exciting. I was like, oh my goodness, look, people are using red. And I know it's just one item, but that got me really excited. And for the longest time, I've wanted to do a red room. And
Mm,
I think my wife has always been um, quite worried about me going down that avenue. But she's finally kind of agreed to me doing it. So it is an upcoming project in the home reno. I'm doing a red room.
what can I ask what room it is?
Yeah, it's a guest bedroom.
What, you don't want them to sleep?
It's going to be absolutely sumptuous. It's going to be divine.
Oh,
It's
is it?
going to be gorgeous. Honestly, trust me. This is what I've been saying to her
Yeah,
anyway.
you want to see if they sleep and they just wake up going, oh my God, I couldn't sleep because I was just racing all night.
I can't remember which one it was. Years ago, one of the Serpentine pavilions was just entirely red.
Uh, was that the one, yeah, on the green grass?
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
it
yes.
made all the green around it,
Look
all above
greener.
the bed.
Yeah.
And the room that I'm going to be doing red has a beautiful view over our back garden, lots of trees and things, and I'm really hoping it enhances the green of that view.
Ah,
So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I've got
yes.
it's not entirely red. There are other colours in there as well.
Yes, I was going to say, because that would be, and there was a restaurant in London. Was it called the Buddha Bar or the Buddha? I think it was under the one of the arches in near Temple. And
Mhm.
when you walked in there, it was virtually all red.
Right.
So it was a warm red, like a quite
Uh-huh.
an well, not quite orange, but it was a red, a reddy, orangey red, reddy orange.
Yeah.
And it was the warm lighting they put with it. And because you were there at night and you were eating and the whole atmosphere created, so it's not just sticking
To
some red in.
me, that the way you've described that is the most inviting scenario ever.
Oh,
Just
see,
the
yeah,
idea of it being cold and probably raining outside and
yes,
rain hammering down, and you're just seeing this beautiful red glow. I mean, that you want to go in there, don't you?
yeah, as long as it's not like the red light district.
Well, yeah, there is that. That wasn't necessarily the avenue I was going down. I'll move swiftly on. So
Yeah,
the other part
I
to
just thought I'd
it.
take the tone down there. Um, sorry, that image, well, not the image, but that just came in my mind. I thought, oh, I just have to say it. That's yeah.
Yeah,
So just be prepared, John.
I,
That might be the only thing I do today. Um, yeah, but it is interesting, isn't it? So yeah, I would love to know how that goes, and you can do a little
yeah.
study and see
Well,
how people feel in the space and can they actually get to sleep? Because red is the color that invites us to stay awake, to be alert,
mhm,
to jump up and down, especially for kids. It's the color that says to them, "Come on,
yeah,
let's get moving. Let's," and that they'll just want to jump up and down on the bed.
yeah.
And does that allow people to sleep?
I hope so.
So yeah, we'll
But I think
see.
what you said earlier about the lighting is really, really important
Mm,
in these spaces because the way that you light that red or any space for that matter, that massively affects
yeah.
the mood and ambience of the space. I did a talk recently, and there was a lighting consultant sharing the kind of speaker space, and it was fascinating just listening to him talking about how light is used and almost played with as a medium itself in a
Mm,
space,
mm, mm,
and how
mm,
they
mm,
start with darkness and just build up the layers of light
mm,
within space. And
mm.
it's a whole craft. It's incredible.
Oh, it is absolutely. And when you think about it, color is light, so you can't
Yeah,
have without light, there's no color can't exist.
absolutely.
So yeah, they go absolutely hand in hand.
The
Um,
oh,
yep.
sorry,
No,
go on.
no, you go, you go.
I was going to say the other part to it is
Oh yes, sorry,
I
thank
have a
you.
second color, and this is my wife's favorite color, but it's kind of grown on me over the years. It's not that I ever hated it, but she loves green. It's her favorite color, and um, I've found green to be a color that I can use really easily. And I think it doesn't matter what the tone of green is or the hue of the green. I think maybe because it's a color that occurs so abundantly in nature, I find it really, really easy to use.
Mm.
And certainly within our own home, it's almost become our go-to color. And so when I came up with the idea of doing the red room, my wife was like, "Thank goodness, not another green room
Yeah,
in the home." And she loves green, but
right, right.
so yeah, I do. I find it a very, very easy color to work with.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that's what you're saying before about proportion.
Mhm.
There's probably enough green and enough of that energy in the home. And if you have one color everywhere, it typically means that you're only expressing one type of emotion, but
Yeah,
the different colors will allow you to do that. So, but we
yeah.
will, just in case anyone's thinking, but there's no green in that room. We will get to this room. It is
Oh,
on,
this
it's
one, yes. There's,
that room is on the list. That room is on the
we
list
do
of
have two
questions.
greens in here.
Yeah, well, the plants
Oh
and
no,
what?
we've got. So they're not behind me. They're actually facing me right now, and
Ah,
above me, actually as
you
well.
got a green ceiling.
It's very, very lightly, but I can tip you up and give you a
Yeah, tip us up.
sneak peek. It's
Oh,
kind of
right, God,
sagey green,
it's very grey green, isn't
so it's
it?
quite
Yeah.
subtle, but it
Mm.
but it is a green.
God, I love this. I love the height of your ceilings.
It's yeah, yeah. Do you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? You have
Oh,
that dream of having a period home, but then you've got these big high ceilings. You've got to try and heat the place,
oh,
but it is lovely.
yeah, yeah. That. How high are your ceilings?
So these are 3 meters.
Right.
Same upstairs as well.
Gosh, that yeah. But God, just I'm a lover of light, so and I live in a rental, and I can't touch it, but if I jumped, I could. Um, I'm nearly 5'9",
Mhm.
so I'm not short, but yeah, to have high ceilings is just a dream. So when anyone has it, I just have ceiling height envy.
Oh no, it is lovely, and it allows you to, you can put colors on scenes because you can bring them right down with those colors,
Yeah, yeah,
and go crazy with ridiculous light fittings and
yeah.
things as
I
well.
know people wallpapering. There's loads of people doing gold leafing. Um,
Yes,
there's so much you can do with ceilings. So yeah, it's an extra
I think
um
so.
surface to play with.
I
Um,
agree.
so is there a color then that you find more challenging or one that you naturally avoid? Is that if we go from one
Yes,
to the other?
yeah, there probably is. I find blue quite challenging.
Ah, that's
I don't know
interesting
what.
because it's usually the world's favorite color, and then it's
Mm,
usually the favorite color of men.
yeah,
So that's
yeah, I find blue difficult. I don't know whether it's because I live in the north of England and it's quite cold, and blue is an intrinsically cold color, and I don't want to make my already freezing house feel any colder just through the color that I use. I tend to use it more as an accent color if I do use it.
hmm
So certainly in the red room that I am doing, there are some elements of blue in there as well, quite a deep, rich blue.
hmm
Um, but pale blue is probably the color I struggle with the most.
right, which is the color I've got behind me.
Yes, and it's
Sky
working
blue.
so beautifully. But I find that difficult.
Ah. Yeah, because this is a warm sky
Yeah,
blue.
yeah,
Obviously you can get cold, and then you can get warm blues like a teal. It's a beautiful
hmm
warm blue.
yeah,
And then navy is obviously cold. So,
yeah.
there are warm blues out there. It depends on whether that suits your personality and who you are and so forth. So, because it's not for everyone. But
No,
is that so? That's the only reason why you just
I
because you're
don't know.
finding it cold. Because white is cold, black is cold.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I find a warmth in black, maybe. And do you know what it is? I think when I go to use blue, or I look at using blue in a space, I instantly then gravitate towards green,
ah,
and and blue kind of goes out the window at that point, and we end up with green. So yeah, here we are back at green
here we
again.
are. Here we are. Here we are. Um, so let's just jump into. I'm just going to just scroll down a bit because I've got to my questions about. So, just what was it like? What was it like being on Interior Design Masters?
It is an absolutely incredible experience. I'd how many times? I think I've applied probably 3 times to be on the show. As had a number of the other designers on the show as well. And I think when you finally get that call to say it's happening, you're doing it. It's a bit of a pinch me moment.
Yeah.
You think, oh my goodness, I'm actually going to be on that show that I sit there watching. Um, oh goodness me, how am I going to do this? And it is probably the most intense thing that I have done
Mm.
in. I'm trying to think of anything that's ever come close to it. I mean, prior to teaching, I worked in industries that had tight deadlines and things, but never the pace at which you work on interior design masters.
Mm.
And I think the show is kept and made entertaining by, the budgets are limited, the timeframes are limited, and that all adds to jeopardy on the show, which obviously makes it a really interesting show to watch. But I think when you're actually doing it, there is an element of stress there, but it's
Mm.
you are enjoying the process so much. I was certainly enjoying the process a lot, and I spent a considerable amount of time on the sofa, but at no point was I ever not enjoying that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
so we just explain for those who haven't
yeah,
watched
sure.
it, is that when are you in the bottom two or bottom three? Is
Bottom
that
three.
bottom three? Then you sit on the sofa with Michelle O'Gunnahan, who is the
Hmm.
head judge,
Yeah.
and then you explain to her why you think she should save you.
Yeah.
Have I said that right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you sit there and Michelle is there, Alan Carr, and whoever the guest judge is that week.
Mm-mm.
And you'll sit there with usually two other fellow designers. And for whatever reason, you didn't quite make the cut that week. And Michelle gives you the opportunity. Well, I look at it as an opportunity
Yes,
to kind
opportunity.
of to explain, what was you thinking behind what you did? Why
Mm.
did you arrive at what you arrived at? Um, and for me, I was just enjoying the whole process of being on the show so much. It's like, oh, now I get to sit on the sofa. It's like I was having a total fanboy moment about the whole thing. It's like, oh, now I get to experience this bit. Even when we got to the point where I'd been on it twice already, and Michelle was very much saying, John, I do not want to see you on this sofa again.
Again. And you went, "Hi, I'm
Hi, here
back."
I am. But it's really great. I think on the show, the audience sees maybe 3 to 5 minutes of
Mm.
the designers being on the sofa, but in reality, you could be on there for anything up to maybe an hour and a half, perhaps.
Wow. What, all three of you talking or just you?
Yeah, yeah.
All,
So
wow, they've edited it really down, haven't they?
yeah, they really do. I mean, obviously they pull out all the juicy bits to make the show more interesting, to make it look good, but a lot of the time, the feedback that you're getting are yes, they're finding the points that they had issues with, and they're communicating that with you and explaining why, and they want to know why you did that thing. But they're also, congratulating you on the bits that you did right.
Mm,
But obviously,
mm,
they cut
mm.
all that out because the audience aren't interested in that. But it's actually a really, really, I found it a useful process,
Yes.
and interesting as well. Certainly from a teacher point of view.
Mm. Yeah,
So
because you're now the
yeah,
student, aren't you?
yeah,
So,
absolutely. So it's usually me critiquing students' work,
mm,
and then I got to have it flipped and be the person who's having their work critiqued. And
yeah, yeah.
certainly when I was on the show, um, part of what was always in my mind was, you want to be setting a really good example for your students. And one of the things I always tell them is, be open minded. They do explore things, but you'll get stuff wrong. And when you do, I'm going to critique it,
Mm-hmm.
but don't take it personally. It's
Mm,
just
mm,
me explain how you could have done it better. And if you do it again, what you need to do. And
mm-hmm.
so, very much when I was on the sofa, it was okay, I've got to practice what I preach here.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it just works out better if you do it that way as well. If you are very defensive when you go on there, it's probably not going to bode too well for you.
Mm. Well, you're not open to hearing anything and not open to learning, and then you don't change.
Absolutely,
So, and you can still take their advice on board because if it really is against your ethics or your authenticity, then you still listen to it, but then you work out, well, how do I bring this in, but in a way that feels authentic to me?
absolutely, yeah,
Mm,
100%.
yeah. No, I did
And
watch you, knowing that you were a teacher. I did watch you and watch how you did that, and I thought, oh, this is a masterclass for his students.
yeah, I mean, I think you go on there. You've got to go on there with a learner's mindset,
Yeah, you do.
very much. Like you're there to learn. You're going to make mistakes, and there's many reasons why you might make mistakes on the show, which is
Mm,
quite interesting. So I
mm.
know that there were some really, really fabulous designers on that
Yeah.
show, and they, really, really good. I very much admire them, and they maybe made a mistake, and it's not because they weren't good enough. It's because
Mm.
they were really pushing the extremes of what they could do. They were taking risks, which
Yeah.
is
Which is the
how
right
amazing
thing.
things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing I love too is that you were on the couch 3 times
Mhm.
and you won. So that to me is a fantastic lesson for anybody who thinks that you've got to get it perfect all of the time,
Yeah.
is that you don't. And this whole thing about perfectionists, and I'm a recovering perfectionist, I know, um, is that it's okay. It's okay to, well, fail forward, really.
Hmm.
That's what you were doing. You were failing forward because each time you were improving and you're taking it on board.
Yeah.
Yes, and you did turn up on there 3 times. But I think that makes your journey, your win even better because it shows that despite that, you still were able to win. So
No,
massive, yeah, massive
thank you.
congratulations.
It was, do you know, as I said, like every part of the show was an exciting experience. It's something entirely new and different from what
Mm,
just about anybody who does in their day-to-day life, to be perfectly
yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah.
And the scenario under which you're designing is, it's not, the scenario under which you would normally design things. And that's, that makes it fun. It makes it
Mm,
exciting.
Did you all get the same brief? And did you get it like weeks ahead, or did you
Ah,
only get it on that like, and then you got a brief, and then it was
right.
up to you to interpret that, but you could do it. So you had full reign of all the colors because it just and all the patterns, everything. Because I'm just amazed at how you were able to source all of that within that whatever that time frame was,
Right.
and and be able to get it all together. That
Yeah.
that's the bit.
I mean, the way it works is you get a week before you go away and film. And so in that prep week, you'll be given the brief and everyone gets the same brief. And you will kind of read through that and you've got a week to design and source everything.
Right.
And so it creates some interesting scenarios. It varies designer by designer. So if you're a designer who, for example, has taken a huge amount, decided to take a holiday from work, a sabbatical or something, um, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a bit easier to source things because you can drive all over the place and find things. If you're still working, it
Mm,
presents a bit more of a challenge because you've got to do it around that work. But I mean, it's hard for everyone in terms of, let's say you want a wallpaper. Usually they don't come within a week. You can get stuff off the shelf, but that really limits what you
mm.
can actually get. I mean, Rita, for example, where she's based, she's in the middle of nowhere, um, in the Lancashire countryside. So for her, sourcing things was a real challenge. She would have to go quite far afield to get wallpaper, for example, which is why I think she predominantly used paint.
Mm.
I mean, I'm close to kind of Manchester, so I can get to places. But my difficulty was that I was still working a full-time job in those
Were
weeks.
you teaching still?
Yeah,
And
so
your
so I
students didn't know you were on it?
no, we had this whole charade that I would have every other week off, and we have a kind of split timetable at school. So
Yeah.
they have an A week and a B week, and they're like, "Why is Mr. Cooper never here on a B week? Does he just like not like B weeks?" And I was like, "Look, guys, I can't tell you why I'm not here. I'll be able to tell you sometime next year." But I can't really tell you. That was so difficult, by the way.
Wow. Because how to
Keeping it a
not let that
secret
slip?
from
Yeah. How to not that let that slip out? And so your children didn't know either.
so my own kids. So my kids knew, and they were sworn to secrecy. My daughter, absolutely,
How old are your kids, if you don't mind me
So,
asking?
so they're 11 and 9 now. So they would have been 10
God,
and
that,
8 when
that's
we
a
were doing the show.
big secret to keep.
Yeah. So my eldest, she was great with it. She was just very much like, yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about this. She's a huge fan of the show,
Right.
so I think
And
she didn't want to kind of jeopardize
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. She's a
Uh,
vault. Right.
my son's kind of approach was, and this was more when the show, when I'd been announced as someone on the show actually, and so all the people in his school knew that was on it, and they'd come up and say like, "Does your dad win?" Or
Oh.
and he literally couldn't lie, so he'd just run away from them, and that was his way of dealing with it. But yeah, they each had their own way of kind of
Oh,
not telling
brilliant.
anyone.
Oh, Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So, um, yeah, so sorry, just on a little sidetrack then, because
Yeah,
that
sorry,
was
no.
very no, it was wonderful. So back to when you're getting the brief,
Mm,
you had full reign of whatever you wanted to do, other than this is like the Battersea Dogs Home. This is the brief. It's for
right.
this. This is the end client. And and after that, you had free reign to do what you wanted.
Pretty much most of the time. I mean, Battersea's a really good example there, actually, because there were a few extra kind of points attached to that one.
Mm,
So, for example, Battersea has to be kind of chew proof and they have to be able to hose it down twice a day. It all has to be able to be scrubbed down and cleaned. Um,
mm.
so when you were making your choices for materials and things you were going to use and paints you were going to use, all of that had to be taken into account. When we did the first one, which was the Youth Hostel Association
In Windermere, was that?
up in
Yeah.
Windermere,
Mm.
um, like the fabrics on there, any curtains, things like that, all had to be fireproof.
Proof.
So
Yeah.
again, that kind of limits, where you can source your fabrics from.
Mm,
But the
mm.
show are very, very good at saying, look, everything has to be fireproof. Here are a list of suppliers you might use.
Oh, that's good. Oh, so that makes it easier for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But certainly as it goes on, the lists of suppliers kind of dry up, and they kind of expect you to
Ah.
do it yourself.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So the wonderful thing about being a winner is that you got to, well, the prize was to create a collection with John Lewis,
Yeah.
the department store.
Yes.
Um, what was that like?
An absolutely incredible prize. I think when we found out that that was going to be the prize, we all got quite excited. And certainly
Oh,
when
so
I
you
won it,
didn't know that when you started?
no, when we started the show, when we came in, we didn't know what the prize was going to be. We knew
Ah,
that the previous year it had been a collaboration with Larry Doot, and that was about as much as we knew. So we figured it would be something kind of similar.
mm.
And so I got the collaboration with John Lewis, and this was just crazy actually, because we finished filming. We finished filming in I can't remember if it was September or October,
Oh,
and
so when do you start? Oh, that was the
so
question
we
was.
start. Did we start in June?
Okay, start in June. So that means they would have just, because this is now, we're at the end of October. I'll
Uh-huh.
just timestamp this. So they would have just done this year's
They will have done,
for
yeah.
next year.
Yeah, which is very exciting. I can't wait
Oh,
to watch.
oh, so you don't know anything.
No, sadly not.
They don't give you any insider hint or
No, you get
anything.
you get no insight. So the point, I mean, the people. It's funny because you kind of obviously all us designers from our season are on a WhatsApp together, and now obviously our show's out. We speak to the designers from the previous seasons as
Right.
well, and yeah, there we all are putting our minds together, trying to figure out who we think might be on it this year.
Oh,
Who
right.
who suddenly started following us all on Instagram or something
Ah.
like that, and but you don't know. You don't. You might get a few of them. There are some people who know. There are two people who know each year who's going to be on, and so they get invited back just before the very first episode to speak to the new designers, so that the new designers can, I suppose, speak to someone who's already been through the
Oh, like a little
experience.
kind of Q&A just to,
Yeah.
show them the ropes. Are you one of those people?
No, I wasn't. So I
Oh.
didn't get to meet them. And of course, they have to sign an NDA, so they're not allowed to share with the rest of us who they've just met.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah,
the rest
right.
of us are none the wiser.
Oh, yeah, it's good because it keeps it all on the ball. Otherwise, if everything gets leaked, like I
Yeah.
always wonder, even with like Strictly and the Bake Off, all of those shows, I mean, people are just so good at being complete steel traps, aren't they?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
nothing, except one year when Prue Leith, remember one year Prue Leith on Twitter,
Oh,
a number of years ago, she announced and said congratulations to the winner of the Bake Off.
yeah. Yeah.
And then,
Oh,
and
dear.
then, yeah, but then they turned it into a big, they made a good joke out of it.
Mm
So,
-hmm.
but yeah, I think that's the only time that it's kind of the cat was out of the bag.
Yeah, I think they do a very good job with the NDAs
They
of
do.
really
Well,
hammering you with them to make sure you don't.
they absolutely, because I think and also why would you want to spoil it?
Well, you
Because
would,
it takes away from
100%.
everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyhow, back to John Lewis.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
So you were going to say how what was
yeah,
amazing about it.
we just finished filming, and so we finished on a Friday in Wales, in Portmeirion, and we stayed over. And then on Saturday, I kind of travelled back to Manchester,
Hmm.
and I'd been told on the Friday, by the way, on Monday you're going to be heading down to London
God,
to
that's
meet with
great.
John Lewis head office, um, and you're going to start designing, like
Wow.
literally on the Monday.
Wow.
Um, which was crazy. I know that the year before, Rasheen, when she won and she got the Larry Duke prize, they had quite a bigger gap between finishing the show and starting work on the prize. But I think it very much depends on who they've collaborated with for the
Mm.
prize and how they want to work. And so I found myself on my way down to London to meet with John Lewis in their new head office,
Hmm.
and sat down with the team. And it was a really nice process actually, because you meet a million people and you try and remember all their names and faces, but you latch onto a few of them.
Hmm.
And they were asking me about my favorite parts of the show, and they'd been briefed on what I'd done on the show, and so they already selected what their favorites were.
Hmm.
And I think they wanted to see if we had a common ground, a favorite that we both selected, and that would be our jumping off point
Hmm.
for what we were going to do together. And so I did have a couple that I put to them, and one of the ones that stood out was the second space I did, which was a monochrome office, very geometric, and they were really keen on this, and it totally took me by surprise.
Was that in the the converted
In the shipping containers,
shipping
yeah.
containers? Was that, yeah?
Yeah, because it was such an un-John Lewis thing, but I
Yeah.
think that's what excited them. It was an
Mm.
opportunity for them to do something really different to anything else they have.
Mm. Because they're very
Um,
country, well, kind of country core in a way, aren't they? It's
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of market.
yeah, and yeah, they got to do something very, very different, and they totally embraced the idea. And I thought they may want to water it down, and no, not at all. They probably pushed it further than I would have done, to be honest.
Mm.
And my instinct just told me when I was kind of going into the collaboration with them is trust them because they know their target market.
And they know what sells.
Yeah, they do. So take on board everything they have to say.
Mm.
Again, it comes back to that learner's beginner's
Mindset.
mindset.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
trust what they have to say. And so literally we went there, and within that first day, I think I was designing cushions. And I think I was on the computer trying to do them. And in the end, I was like, look, could you just pass me a pencil and a piece of paper? I need to do this by hand. And
Mm.
it was this fabulous process. They had lots of samples for the various techniques and things they can do. And then we got to have these fabulous conversations of, well, can I use this technique combined with this technique? And can we do it in this colorway? And a lot of the time it was, I don't know, but we can find out. Let's see. And they were just so open to every kind of idea I had
Hmm.
about, let's see if we can do it.
Oh, brilliant,
So
brilliant.
they were fabulous to work with.
Oh,
Absolutely amazing.
that's great. And at the very beginning of this color couch, I said we will talk about this room.
Okay. Yeah, let's.
So, was this room the inspiration for your collection?
No, this came after the collection. So the inspiration was the second challenge on IDM was the starting point. And I knew that I really wanted to explore texture and pattern. And that had a lot to do with why I reduced the whole color scheme down to a monochrome color scheme pretty much. There is a toffee color in there as well, which we spent quite a lot of time just deliberating over what the third color would be, because it felt quite significant because we had the black, we had the white, and whatever color we introduced was going to affect the whole range quite significantly.
Hmm.
Um, and then what quantity we introduced it as well. And so we designed the monochrome range. We wanted it to be quite modern. We wanted people to lots of people to be able to access it. But in order to do that, we had to keep it quite neutral.
Mm.
So we wanted to explore color. We wanted to explore texture and we wanted to explore pattern, but keep it neutral so it would fit in lots of different interiors. And I know when we were doing it, there were a lot of people. It was after the range had come out. I'd won the show. People commenting, they were giving me lovely feedback about the range, and they were really happy with it and congratulating me on it. And so people said, but how would it work in a period property? It seems like, yeah, I can imagine it in kind of loft living or an apartment, but I struggle to kind of envisage what it would be like in a Victorian property, say. And so this room, which is in a Victorian property, was me wanting to show, well, actually, if I take the items from the collection, how would I incorporate this into a Victorian property? So I'll give you a little spin round, and
Yes,
we'll
please
we'll
do.
we'll. It's hard to do with a laptop, actually.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. So I just
um,
saw a striped, right? I saw a striped
okay,
chair.
yeah, we've got the striped.
The
I'll do that.
striped
That's probably a
chairs
bit
in there.
easier. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of kind of naturals in here. The greens that are in here. This entire wall over here
Yeah.
is green. It's this
Ah, it doesn't show
fab.
up on my screen as green. So,
Okay, it's a fabulously dark green. I think it's
oh,
called might be reduced green.
oh, it's got a lot of
Um,
black in it, is there?
yeah, it's really dark.
Mm.
But it's just that wall, and I've got kind of natural tones throughout. So we've got browns and these kind of burnt colours in here, lots of off whites, and then the black and white, and obviously the plants as well.
Yeah.
Um,
But you've got your
and
cushions. Do you want to show your,
yeah,
aren't
yes,
your cushions?
we've got the cushions. There's one.
Yeah, there's one. You've got any
I've
others?
got another one behind me, actually. There we go.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
got another
that's the
one there.
toffee.
Yeah, so these are the toffee colours, which again, I mean, it's when we did the lamp. Sorry, I won't go over every John Lewis product that
No,
I've got in
oh,
this
so you did a
paper.
lamp as well.
So the lamp here is normally, I think when John Lewis do it, it comes in a single colour. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, can we do more than one colour? And they were like, well, yeah, we could do two colours. I was like, well, can we do three colours? Could we have a black base? Could we have the toffee colour and then the white head? And like, we can try.
Yeah.
Let's see. And so there was this. It was at breakneck speed, especially for a big outlet like John Lewis to be
Mm.
able to design this in the space of 2 or 3 months, which is how long we. I mean, they normally work a couple of years in advance,
Right, right.
and so for them to do it at that pace was, I think they felt that was quite significant.
For them as well. And,
Yeah,
and I heard it sold out. Is that correct?
it's pretty much. I think you can still get it online, but I think most of the stock from stores now is pretty much gone,
Wow.
which
Wow,
I'm thrilled with,
wow.
obviously.
Are they going to do another run, or is this like a sort of a
No,
limited
it is a
edition?
kind of limited run. They've got all their collaborations sorted out for the next lot of various collaborations I'm sure they're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe in the future, if they want to do another one, I'll be very much up for it because I love the process.
All right then, if they're listening,
Yeah, absolutely.
John's just asked. Do another one. Um, so were you were you ever hesitant because this on the color couch is for people that might also be a little bit scared of color or scared of getting it wrong or scared of what other
Mm,
people think. And color does, there's a lot of people that tell me that color just terrifies them.
yeah.
And I get that. Were you ever hesitant or afraid about using color? And if you did, or if you were, how did you move past that?
Right. I think certainly as a child, I was never, and a teenager, I was not hesitant about using color ever. And I think it's possibly one of these things that sets in as you get older, that people become hesitant about using color. They
Mm,
think everything's got to be neutral and safe.
mm.
And yeah, to some extent, that did kind of set in. I've been quite lucky throughout my life, certainly pre-teaching. Yeah, I worked as a costume maker and I worked as an architectural modeler. And
Wow. Okay.
initially, when I worked as an architectural model, I was employed as a sculptor. And it's because they wanted sculptures to represent where the buildings were going to be on a master plan. And I got to work with a fabulous architect who's sadly now passed away, but his name was Will also. And he
Oh, I
creates,
know Will. And you will.
Yes.
I helped with his naming with his uh paint collection.
Oh, because obviously he based his buildings on his fabulous paintings, or
Oh
did
no,
do.
he's brilliant, isn't he? He lived
Yeah.
in Norfolk. He spent a
Oh,
lot of time in Norfolk. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
Will also was one of our major clients. So we his buildings are out there. You know,
Mm,
they're bright, they're colourful, they're crazy shapes. And so I was very lucky to have that as an influence on me, really, at that point in my life when I was kind of in my mid to late 20s. And so that has always been there at the back of my mind. And then you go into teaching, which is a very, very structured and
mm.
safe kind of profession. And then of course you do something wild, you know, when you're middle aged and decide to go on a TV show. Um, and at that point, yeah, I think I was a little bit safe with colours. Like I like colours, I like a richness to colour, but quite muted. But I think certainly following the show, I've become open to every possibility with colour. I just thoroughly enjoy it. And I think as a kind of entry level, really, it's you know, for people, I think the safest thing to do is take an item, like a chair or a side table or something, pick your favorite color, choose the most vivid tone of that color, and paint that item that color.
Mm.
And see how it sits with you. And you know, if you don't like it, just strip the paint off or paint it a neutral color. But if you do like it, you know, you've just taken your first step in a really exciting journey.
Mm, mm.
So I think doing it on something small like that to begin with is probably the way forward.
So I think you might, thank you. I think you might have already answered kind of into the next question,
Oh, okay.
which is fine, but maybe not. But if for anyone afraid of color, what would your number one piece of advice be? But it sounds like you might have just given it.
Yeah, I think do that. But you know, when you pick that favorite color of yours, crank it up to the most vivid tone. I think
Mm,
you've got to do that. Um, just to see how it makes you feel when you see it in a space. The master of doing this on Interior Design Masters when I was on it was Craig.
mm,
He's got such a confidence with not just using color but combining colors and
mm.
combining patterns. Um, I was in awe of Craig. I think you know everyone saw it when they watched the show, but when we did the shop together,
Oh, is that with
and
all the lampshades?
yeah,
Oh, I loved that. I did. I
we did that
really,
shop.
yeah.
It was so much fun. It was such a joy to work with Craig, and when we came up with the color scheme together, to actually do that with him and see how he does it, and then obviously put my input in there as well. And I remember his advice actually. It was very useful advice to get at the time, but it was choose a color scheme. This was the first day I think we got the brief. It's like choose a color scheme, and no matter what, we just got to stick with this and run with this and make it work. And I think that was great advice, you know, kind of for that point onwards going through the show actually.
Mm, mm.
But I mean, it's good advice. I think if you're doing something in your own home, you know, choose the color, stick with it, do it, just do the thing, and
Commit.
see then how it
Mm.
sits.
Yeah, yeah. And also, yeah, not worrying what other people think because it's your home and you're the one that lives in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I listened to Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen give a talk to an audience, and it was very much what he was saying was, you know, do what makes you feel alive in the space, do what makes you happy, and don't worry about what other people think
Mm.
of it. You're creating that space for you. And he very much talked about the whole lockdown period and how people found themselves trapped in their little beige or grey cubes at home and actually suddenly wanted to do a whole lot more with those spaces.
Mm. Well, because the emotion was missing.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
all their stimulation and emotion happened outside the home.
Mm-hmm.
And now they were in the home that offered them virtually none. And so
Yeah.
they were craving this stimulating emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because the color wasn't there.
Absolutely.
That
100%.
was there to get them that. Speaking of Lawrence Llewellyn, just a little side note.
Oh, yeah.
Last year I saw him in the VIP tent. Or
So
the
did I.
Did you? Well,
Yes.
and I just stood there. I sat there just watching him, and I did not have the courage to go up and speak to him, which is so silly because then I saw other people doing it. But I that's he's someone that I want
Oh,
to
you
have a
should
chat with.
do. Yes.
And I didn't, and that's why when I saw you and Rita, I just went, right, I'm going to do it because what's the worst they can say is no, because I missed speaking to Lawrence last year.
Oh,
So there you go.
absolutely.
Funny you
No,
should say that.
he's so lovely and he's so approachable and so generous. I found with his time.
Yeah, yeah, I love his
Definitely.
character. I love his and he's an amazing artist. I mean,
Yes.
his paintings,
Hmm.
he
Yeah.
can really draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite because he's a
Talent.
yeah, did he do a fine arts degree, I think, at
I don't
university or
know. I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
he's the real thing, the real deal. Um, so I've already asked you about your students. Did they when well actually what I didn't ask is when you went back to school,
Yeah.
or did you go back to school? Did you just
I
say,
did. I did.
did you
I
just
had
go, I'm going?
no. I mean, I don't teach. I don't teach now. I do actually. I do a little bit from time to time actually, but it's I'm so busy with so many other things right now. But it's I kind of have discovered that I do still enjoy educating. I do still enjoy elements of teaching, but it's very much, I suppose, on my terms now. And
Mm.
I'm enjoying this whole other wild ride right now. But I gave my notice to finish in September. So once the show had finished, I still had to obviously get all the way up to the summer holidays. Um, and the kids, the kids at school were brilliant. Really, there was lots of different things about the show that were great. There were the kids, like my form group, for example, who really latched onto it, and every week they wanted to know that they'd come in after they'd watched it and come and talk to me about it. They wanted to know the details
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what you didn't see on screen.
Yeah, yeah.
My A level students, who by that point are very much, they want to be designers. They want to go into some kind of design degree at that point. They've kind of made up their mind, usually. But they would come in on a Friday, and I'd have I would have just had to watch the show on TV on a Thursday, watch myself getting a critique from Michelle and whoever the guest judge was, and then sit through a critique by my own students on a Friday. But it created such a lovely dialogue with them,
Yeah.
and I think they found it quite inspiring. We did a student survey of year seven students, asking them what they might want to do as a future career. And I've never had kids put interior designer before, but we in that one class of 30 that I had there were six kids who said they wanted to be interior designer. There were another two or three who said they wanted to be architects. There was another one who wanted to be a clothes designer, and
Wow.
it's like, wow, suddenly, you know, a creative industry is actually a possibility for these
Yeah.
children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
then,
also what they get exposed to.
yeah.
Because if you only I remember when I went through school and we did careers, like we
Mhm.
went to the careers teacher, and she said to me, what do you want to be? She said, here are some jobs. You can be a nurse, you can be a secretary, you can be whatever. And I went like, no.
Yeah.
Like, um, so it was quite interesting how, yeah, we do get influenced by what is around us. So what you did and still actually coming back to school is showing up for the kids, and that's priceless, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, the bit that it really got me actually was in any school you have those
You're not going
children
to make
who
me cry now, are you?
I hope not. I don't know, maybe, well, I don't
In
know,
a
maybe
good way.
you have those kids who are hard to reach for whatever
Yeah.
reason, and are usually, that their behavior, it's usually a product of whatever, the situation is.
Mm,
And they are a challenge, and they make, they usually aren't in your lessons because they're ducking out the lessons and
mm, mm.
all sorts of problems, and they're getting up to things they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And a number of those students, when they were ducked out of lessons, I might add, would I'd be walking down the corridor and I'd see when I'm like, what are you doing out of lesson? And we'd get chatting, and they'd be like, oh, do you know, I saw that TV thing you were on. Um, it's really good. Well done. And I'm thinking, wow, these are kids who wouldn't normally talk to even to any member of staff, really,
Mm.
or be very selective in who they did talk to. And somehow the fact that, that one of the teachers in their school has gone on a TV show, that's interesting to them.
Mm, mm, mm,
But
mm,
it's
mm.
given them this access point then to the idea that design or creativity is a thing you can do, and it doesn't all have to be the kind of, I suppose, academic routes that we really push children down in
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
And so, when these kids, these some of them quite troubled kids, are coming up and saying, "Oh, well done," or even that, "I'm proud of you for doing it, sir." Things like that.
yeah.
It
Oh,
does touch your heart. It's really beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And also because it's something that they can also relate to.
Hmm.
So, and you've made an impact on so many children now, and they'll never forget that.
I
They'll
hope so.
never forget that. No, it will have made because kids they're all impressionable.
Yeah,
So that's what a wonderful that's a gift that keeps giving, huh?
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine you would be a great teacher, and because I know if I loved the teacher, I really wanted to do well for the teacher, which is I know is not the right way to go
Yeah.
about it. But if I didn't like the teacher, yeah, I mucked around.
Me too. Me too. Do you know what? I think every creative kid out there does that.
Mm,
If they're not into it, if they're not fully on board with it, they're going to mess around.
yeah, like maths. Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
And
I
it's in
struggled with it
everything, and
too.
it's so important.
Hmm.
And I because I've got a real logical, rationale brain as well, and yet when it comes to maths,
Yeah. I struggle. I
but
struggle in
anyhow,
that area.
yeah. Um, so what I think I just got last two questions.
Sure.
What does the future hold for you now that you've fully stepped into design? What I don't know, maybe you've got some secret non-signing NDAs that you can tell us about the collections you're doing, or what's
Yeah.
the like what's the future hold for you now, John?
Well, I've got quite a few projects on the go at the moment. In fact, I'm going up to measure one after this today. I'm going to measure up 3 rooms and take some photos
So
there.
your
And
neighbors are knocking on your door, literally knocking on your door saying, "Can you come and
well,
design?"
it's a little way away, but I'll take a drive over there and measure up. And so
Yeah,
I've got um, at least 3 projects in the pipeline at the moment. One that's kind of started this week, really. So there's obviously the interior design work. There's a website going live with a consultancy service and things on there.
fabulous.
I am in conversations about um, other collaborations that may be in the pipeline, other
Right.
product collaborations. Um, how much can I give away? Let me think. Uh,
Can you do it interpretive dance?
oh gosh, how I don't even know where we are with it. But I've taken some trips out of the country. Is
Oh,
one
okay. So and their
to
products are they?
the products, yeah.
Fantastic,
Um, and
fantastic.
so yeah, they're products that I really love as well. It's very much we've sought each other out.
Hmm.
Uh, and so I'm quite excited about those and where they lead. There's my actual own home reno. Like I joke that this is the only done room in the house, because we moved into here maybe 2 years before I did IDM, and then everything ground to a halt
Mm,
when I was doing interior design masters, and following that really because it's just been such a roller coaster
yeah.
of things happening. So that used to get updated on my Instagram, and that'll kind of pick up speed again, and so that'll start happening. I'm sure my wife will be thrilled if that starts happening.
Yeah, well, it's like a mechanic, isn't it? They or a hairdresser. Mechanics
Yeah,
have a car that doesn't work.
yeah,
Hairdresser doesn't cut their own hair. It's just
yeah.
it's always it's the same story. So it will
Oh,
it will
100%.
all come. It will all come. But all the links to your Instagrams, your website, everything will be in the notes below
Fabulous.
the video. And also,
Amazing.
if you're watching this actually on my the little book of color website, then all the links will be below there as well. So that everyone they can find you. Um, so that just leaves me to ask the last question, and that
Ooh.
is, which colorful person do you most admire and would you love me to interview? But you can't
Oh,
say Rita because Rita's already said yes.
oh, okay. Well, I'm going to say Craig.
Do you think
I'm
he'd
going
be
to
up
say
for it?
I'm going to say Craig Masson because, without the things he discussed with me about doing the show and the use of color, I probably wouldn't have won it. And I hold him in such high regard.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
So I would 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, say Craig Massell. He just uses color wonderfully.
Yeah, and I did enjoy watching what he created. Was he the one that created the almost the pop art in the Battersea Dogs
Yeah,
Home?
yeah,
I'm surprised I can remember all of this.
yeah. He did.
Yeah,
He would be the
yeah.
most fabulous interviewee as well. He's an absolute darling. He's lovely.
Oh, good. All right then. I will ask him and I'll say that you said, and therefore he can't say no.
Absolutely. What's he going to do? I'll
Well,
message him as well. And he's
if he does,
stuck.
I'll say I'll get John onto you. Well, you message him, yeah, and just say
Yeah, well, yeah.
this random person's going to contact you, but she's okay.
Oh, she's lovely. Thank you.
No, you're more than welcome. John, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Oh,
I've really loved the insights that you've given us and what you've shared, and you've been very, very generous with your time and generous with your knowledge, but also I think really inspiring for up and coming textile designers, products designers, interior designers, and just for people in general, to bring more color into their own homes. So thank you very much for sharing all of that.
oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. All right then. So, if you would like to see more of on the color couch and more conversations, you can either head to thelittlebookofcolor.com and you will see there loads of interviews. Some of them have got videos and others are just the written interviews. Or you can subscribe on YouTube and you can follow me there and you can watch the other wonderful people that I've chatted to. And so I'm Karen Huller, and this has been On the Colour Couch.